Hi, I'm Lisa Seifert, immigration attorney in Olympia, Washington, and I want to say something to those of you who are naturalized citizens. In recent weeks, the Trump administration has said that they want to try to denaturalize lots of people. And do you know how many of you there are? More than 24 million US citizens are naturalized citizens. Under our laws, naturalized citizens are the same as US citizens in very many ways. The quality of your citizenship is not worse because of that. So, in the statutes about citizenship, we also have always had statutes that talk about denaturalization or taking it away. And it can happen, it's not new. What's new is the Trump administration wants to try to increase the numbers. They want their Justice Department to have as a priority denaturalizing people. So I wanted to explain what that is for a few minutes. Who could be denaturalized? Well, basically, if there was any big misrepresentation or lie in how a person achieved their permanent residence, the citizenship process, the naturalization process is the time to look at all of that. So if your green card was based on a fraudulent marriage, for example, and you apply for citizenship, at the citizenship time, immigration, of course, is going to review the whole file. And if they determine or they want to question the underlying marriage, that might result in you being denied for citizenship. So if something makes them look at your case later, that could be a reason to undo the whole thing because they could say there was fraud as a basis. It's pretty rare, though. And the government has to prove quite a bit to try to denaturalize somebody. Let's think about who's ever been denaturalized that you've ever heard of. There was a Nazi collaborator named John Demjanjuk, and he actually was denaturalized twice. He was put in prison. He was eventually deported. It took a very long time, and he was very ill. But John Demjanjuk was a Nazi collaborator. He worked in the camps and he lied about that. And so that is the most famous one I can think of that is in my lifetime. It's going to be pretty rare that a person is going to be, is going to have the government come after you. There are laws in place that make this very difficult. The government has to bring a civil lawsuit in federal court. They can't just send you a notice and say this is done. There is a legal process. And so it can't just happen. So if you have applied for citizenship recently and you're worried about it, you should review what you wrote down, right? You should review if somebody helped you and you don't know exactly what is in your citizenship application, get a copy. Most people are applying online, so that means you can download the application. I invite you to do that. Review everything that was in your application and make sure you understand it. You need to understand it anyway because you'll have an interview and the officer will ask you questions about all of those parts of the application. The interviews are not really only about a civics test. The interviews are to review everything that you said on your application. So hopefully you haven't made any major mistakes. And if you did, you can correct them. You could say, oh, I should have said that child was 10 years old. It looks like on the form we said he was 8. Or if you neglected to mention your children in your application, you can explain to the officer if they ask you, right? The questionnaire for citizenship asks, do you have children that are under 18? So if you didn't list your older children, that's okay. The officer might ask you about that. So I'm sorry to be in the field now, which is busy. The immigration law field is busy because people are so fearful. But I'm happy to be available if people have questions that they want to review. That's what you should do. If you think you have applied or you want to apply and you think there's something in your background that might look negative or sketchy and you are afraid to apply, well, I guess you should get that checked out, because people who are legal permanent residents are really, it's probation in this country. Everybody should try to get U.S. citizenship. Don't let this push from the current government scare you away from trying to apply for U.S. citizenship. In fact, I think you want to become as safe as you can, and U.S. citizenship is the safest kind of status to have. So please go ahead and apply for U.S. citizenship. I guess if you think that in your past you have done any of these next things I'm going to say, then maybe don't apply. So if you've engaged in torture or war crimes, if you have been involved in criminal gang activity, international gangs, if you have secret undisclosed felonies, if you've been involved in human trafficking or financial fraud, then don't apply for US citizenship. But do review what these troublesome things in your record are with a criminal attorney and or an immigration attorney. Everybody who has a green card should move towards citizenship. It's the natural progression of things. I hope that our office or another immigration office can help you do that. Meanwhile, don't be afraid of denaturalization. It's highly unlikely it could come to you, and there's lots of help in case you get a notice. Thanks.